All right, more young adults are living at home in the U.S. Reports finds report finds.
A growing number of Gen Z Americans are living at home even after they graduate from college, according to a Business Insider.
Well, of course, whenever you graduate from college, you're $200,000 in debt. How do you expect to get a house?
Report parents are financially supporting their adult children well into their 20s in this tough economy. Only 16% of people between the ages of 8
and they're getting, like, whenever the day and age that we're living in, like, a lot of parents have the means and the funds and want their kids around. So it's just like, okay, yeah, you can live here. That's cool. And a lot of people are paying rent. And even if you're not, a lot of parents just want their kids around.
18 to 24 say that they are completely financially independent. Many younger Americans are living at home as they grapple with high housing costs, heavy student debt, and inflation. But not all of their parents are happy about it. Eve Upton Clark wrote that piece. She joins me now. She's a free.
Yeah, I guess there are probably some parents that are, their kids are forced to be home because they can't get a place to live, which does kind of suck.
Freelance features writer for Business Insider, covering culture and society. And Eve, I think that this is such a chattable topic because your article mentions that some parents have reported spending an average of $1,400 a month helping out their adult kids. I'm wondering,
bro, what? $1,400 a month? What are they doing? That's how, like, I mean, you add a little bit to that, and that's how much it costs me to live every month. Like, and they're living at home with you?
how they're able to even afford it.
So most parents are happy to financially support their adult children, whether that's with tuition costs or helping with bills or rent. But then there is this element where we're seeing parents having to dip into their retirement savings in order to financially support their adult children, which is where there is a problem of.
Wait, why would they? I don't understand that part. Why doesn't the adult child... No, that sounds funny. Why doesn't the adult child get an adult job?
Obviously, parents have less time to financially recover.
Yeah, that seems like a major problem. If they're dipping into their retirement to pay their grocery bills for kids that they thought would be launched and off on their own adulthood.
Bruh. I feel like you can apply at Walmart. What?
Is the problem here tough economy? Is it a cultural shift to depending on parents longer, a result of a helicopter generation of children becoming adults?
But what we're seeing is almost this new life stage being created, which has been coined emerging adulthood, which describes those 18 to 29-year-olds who basically are experiencing these shifting life milestones. They're not getting married as young, they're not having children as young, they're not buying their first property as young, but they're also not achieving that.
I feel like that's because, like, there's so much more opportunity to do things now. Like, instead of getting married or having kids or, like, I don't know. Like, you can fall in love and, like, get married and stuff, but, like, life-changing things, like, you kind of want to do things in your life before you do life-changing things, I guess. And the opportunity is there this time, or this day and age. Like, the opportunity is there to do the things. Then a lot of people are choosing to do the things, like travel and stuff.
Financial independence, and their adulthood is looking so different from their parents' and their grandparents' generations.
Emerging adulthood.
It's like, could you imagine, like, people back in the day getting married at, like, 14, 15, 16 years old, having kids before they're 20, getting a house, having a full-time job, and a housewife and a full-time job dad at, like, the age of 20 or 21? Like, that would be crazy. I couldn't even imagine that.
You know, when you think that like in our grandparents' generation, they were married in their 20s and have like starting their own families, and here we have this group of emerging adults still.
Like, we're going to college, and then going to live back home with our parents. Well, I didn't say I didn't, but a lot of people do.
Very much dependent on their parents. I'm wondering how much this trend has changed. And we saw a lot of this happening, obviously, during the pandemic, where people were losing their jobs, couldn't pay their bills, and also just wanted the comforts of being at home. Have some of those people really started to move back out and are now on their own, or that changed society?
I mean, in the past decade, we've seen the number of parents supporting their adult children, it's doubled. So this has been a huge shift. And I think it's important to say that this isn't necessarily the problem or the fault of parents or...
What is like supporting mean like living with, or actually supporting like I'm paying for everything of yours? Because like I feel like that's a big difference. Because if the parent is paying for every single thing that the kid has, like 20 years old, they should probably get a job. But if they're just letting them live there, but the kid is paying for everything, I feel like that's not bad. Or even like maybe even paying rent, even if it was like a few $100s in rent, like that's not bad either. That's more just kind of like a place to stay, but you live with your parents. But dang, I couldn't imagine like paying. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money to pay towards your adult person. Your adult. I don't want to say adult child. That sounds weird.
Or their children, you know, these are young people that are graduating with huge student loan debts, who are experiencing rising housing costs, and then are going into jobs where their salaries aren't matching up with inflation. So for most of these young people, they might want to be financially independent, but they don't have the means or the stability to feel that they can go out on their own, or if they do, they're moving back home.
There's a question about whether this...
Because you start that, bro, leaving college $100,000 in debt and then starting out your first job making $40,000 a year, like it doesn't match up.
This is a potentially dangerous cycle, that the parents are taking care of their emerging adult kids and dipping into their own retirement savings, and they won't have enough to sustain themselves when they're ready to retire, and then will have to depend on their kids. Is this a problem? At what point should parents cut the financial umbilical cord?
I think there's no one-size-fits-all approach. It's going to look different for different families. I mean,
why not just let people do what they want to? I feel like if like your parents are happy with you being there and you're there, like just be happy being there. Like that's awesome. But I guess if like you're not happy and you're not happy in the living situation, you don't want to live together, then get a job and move out. I don't like...
The parents I spoke to, some of them were more than happy to financially support their adult children for as long as it took for them to achieve that level of stability. But for others, there was a real concern about empowering their adult children and not enabling them. But I think most young people in their 20s don't necessarily want to be living at home with their parents and will be doing everything they can in order to move out as quickly as possible. So
count on that as the deciding factor. All right, Eve Upton Clark, so great to have you on this topic.
Thank you.
I mean, I'd say like it's like a 50-50 thing. Like some people want to move out, some people don't.
Like the video. I mean, click it while you're there. I mean, also subscribe, unless it already did that, and then whatever.